Welcome back to another video. Today I thought I'd do a video on Shadow of War on how is the most common way to get a captain to cheat death in Shadow of War. This has been one of the most common questions I've been asked on the Shadow of War channel, so let's go ahead and delve straight into it. First of all, we need to do a couple of things right here. After doing a little bit of testing, off camera right here, I came to the conclusion that the number one way to get a captain to cheat death I will reveal a little bit later in the video, but there are two things that we must do in order to ensure that we get a higher chance of them cheating death. Number one is make sure we encounter a captain at least 2 times. Now, there's a different way on how I go about this. Encountering a captain does not mean you're roaming throughout the land and you just use your vision to see the captain. It means you must do step number 2, which is also engage the captain. Now, what I mean by this is this specific reason right here, okay? So when you engage the captain, you need to make sure that the captain actually dialogues to you. What I mean by that is, when you engage a captain and it comes up to the whole little cutscene bit where he's like, hey, you, etc., and he actually engages you. You need to make sure that that happens, because if that doesn't happen, it lowers your chances, because the game does not detect that he has had an engagement with you aside from him just fighting. So it does not make it more personal to possibly become a nemesis. So once those 2 steps have been completed, number 1, you've encountered him at least twice in the game, and number 2, you have had 2 dialogue options come up, meaning you've actually engaged him twice in the game. Then we go to the third option, which is engaging him another time, but making sure we at least do the one step that has the highest possibility of making sure that the captain returns from the death. And this possibility is, believe it or not, throwing him off a cliff. Yes, you want to get the captain down to the point where he's actually weak and vulnerable, to the point where he's in the green, and then you want to grab him and go to the nearest cliff in the game, or, hill that's big enough, and you just want to throw him off so he dies due to fall damage. After looking at statistics and things online and figuring stuff out, I have come to the conclusion that compared to fire, poison, and just doing an execution on somebody, this is the number one way to get them to return back from death. Why that is happening, I have no idea. But it actually does show, statistically speaking wise, that more people have had to where if they throw somebody off a cliff, they will return later on as somebody who cheated death. I guess in the game system it's just easier to do that versus everything else. Now, why is this important that a captain cheats death in the game? Well, this is actually important because it makes the captain stronger. Why is that important? Oh my god, I don't want to have to face that. Well, you could use it to get some of the strongest captains in the game. So there you go. That's a video that a lot of people have asked me so much about as to how to get somebody or a captain to cheat death in the game, and that is your actual reason how. You want to make sure you encounter him at least twice, make sure you see him at least twice, and on top of that, you want to make sure finally that you grab him and then throw him off a cliff. That is going to be your number one highest way to. It's above fire, it's above poison, and everything else. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video, and I'll see you guys next time.